Hello, my beloveds. Welcome to the first Friday of 2022 here with the Holistic Healing Circle. If you haven't noticed yet, I've switched some stuff up with the Healing Circle and I've just moved the entire thing over to the Patreon community. So if you're watching this and you're not aware about the Holistic Healing Circle or the different support options that are available over on Patreon, go over and check out bit.ly holistic support or search for holistic restoration on Patreon and you'll get all the details there. And what this session is about is going to be a monthly session that happens the first Friday of the month, every month. And we're going to do an energy forecast for the month. We're going to do a little live oracle reading. I'm going to give you some tips on developing your intuition, and we'll also have space for a live Q&A. This session I have open to the public, so if you're watching this and not part of the Healing Circle, that's how you're getting access to it. But moving forward, this feature is going to be a bonus for the Patreon members, the people in the Healing Circle that are on the tier 2 level and above. So if honing your intuition, learning how to develop your intuition, understanding intuition, how to work with your intuition more, if that's something that's on your list of to-dos for this year or, moving forward, then definitely tune into these because I'm going to give you my best tips on helping to unpack and better understand and integrate a better relationship with your intuition. One of the ways that I love to develop intuition is by using oracle cards. I'm going to talk to you about what they are, what they're not. If you want to dive more in depth, I have an Awaken Intuition series workshop that's focused all on oracle cards. You can find out all about them. Today and moving forward for this year, we're going to be working with the Oracle of the Mermaids. They're one of my favorite decks that are out there available. And what an oracle deck is, for those of you that are new, it's a deck of cards. Usually there's around 25 to 50 cards. This deck has 42, and they usually are in a specific theme. This one's a mermaid theme. There are some in nature themes or animal themes, or I have got a deck from Rumi, the ancient mystic poet. So that's a theme in a deck. And what they are: common imagery, common theme throughout the deck, and each card has a different reflective point for you to reflect on. So regardless of how you've seen oracle cards used in the past, I use them as an opportunity to connect to my intuition, to play around and reflect with what is coming up inside of me, and to allow the message prompts on these cards to just do some reflection in a way that I may not have considered on my own. So they're not here to predict what's going on. They are not here to tell us the future. They are here simply to give you an opportunity to consider a message and decide for yourself how you feel about it. And that's going to be my intuition tip for today. So before we even get into the card readings, what I have done is pre-selected 3 cards. I have them laid out 1, 2, 3 in a row. I'll show you what the back of the card looks like, just so you can get a good visual. I have 3 of these cards laying in a row. So pull up in your mind a vision of 3 cards all laid out in a row with this beautiful mermaid on the back. Now, eyes closed, eyes open, that's totally up to you. You are the intuitive one to guide yourself. So you're going to know, keep your eyes closed, keep your eyes open, whichever one calls to you. Envision those 3 cards laying side by side in your mind. Just picture 1, 2, 3. Now, which of those 3 numbers talks to you the most, nudges you the most, stands out the most? I know we always want to pick all 3, but choose one. Just say to yourself, 1, 2, or 3, and keep that number in mind as we go through the reading today. Now, the thing about choosing a number is that there's no right or wrong. And part of what I'm going to be talking about for developing your intuition is to help you back out of some myths and some misnomers when it comes to intuition. We are used to thinking about things in terms of right or wrong, one way or the other, black or white. And a lot of us are on a mission to make sure that whatever we choose is not the wrong choice. Intuition doesn't work that way. It might seem like it should have a definitive answer that puts you in a definitive direction. And once you're connected to your intuition, you know exactly what to do at all times. That's not really how this works, and definitely not during the developmental stage. Intuition is here to help you to break out of your right or wrong thinking, and it's here to help you to build your self-trust. It is a built-in informational system that you have within you that you can tap into and access at all times. That does not mean that it's going to lead you in the right direction. It's going to lead you in the divine direction that you are meant to go explore, experience in this life. So developing your intuition is not a shortcut to the easy life. It just makes, as you're going through what life brings, an opportunity for you to navigate it with your internal self and start to ease out of all of your experience being this external experience of whatever you're going through, and allows you to connect with your soul self, your intuitive voice on the inside that will help to navigate you through any situation. So, intuition tip for today: intuition is not getting something right and getting something wrong. Intuition is learning how to trust yourself and listen to your soul within. And as you learn the language of the one that lives inside of you, then you will begin to better develop, hone, work with, understand, connect to, be friends with your intuitive self. So what helps with that is tuning into these sessions every month. Every month, you're going to get an opportunity to pick a card, 1, 2, or 3. I am going to reveal all 3 as an energy forecast for this month. And what I mean by that is, again, not predicting the future, but just extending an invitation to give you some reflection points to consider as you move forward with the rest of the month unfolding after we have this session. Now, why pick one card? That one card is your pathway to being able to connect more clearly to your intuition. So while all 3 of the cards that come forth may have a nice, lovely overview or an effect or a connection to the rest of the month as it unfolds, that one card that you chose is the one for you to start with, to pay attention to take some time to reflect on. So that's your invitation to reflect on that card once I get to it. Now, I don't have anybody live with me, but in the future, there may be people here live with me. I'm hoping that some people show up. And if they don't make it to the live stream, because not everybody can do the same time every single month, then there's space for you to put any questions that you want, any questions that you want me to answer related to intuition, related to a different topic. It doesn't quite matter. This is like a live Q&A, oracle reading, intuition development, all that packed into one. So keep that in mind as you journey through the month. If you have hot burning questions that you would love for me to address, then get them over to me. Hop on this live session first Friday, 9 a.m. And if that changes, I will keep you posted. Okay, why don't we dive into these beautiful mermaids and see what they have to say to us today. So this is card number 1. If in your mind you picked card number 1, then this is the message for you to pay extra attention to. This is card number 21 in the deck. I'm going to hold it up here so you can get a good little look at it, although it's not totally clear. And this is the mirror. The mirror. The message on the card is know thyself, self-examination, seeing who you really are. Now, I think that that is right on point with the intuitive hits that I've been getting leading up to this conversation. As you can see, this mermaid, she's standing in front of like a waterfall or a sheet of water and seeing her reflection, reaching out, lightly touching it. She has some flowers around her, looking all lovely and goddess-like. And what this card represents is an understanding that reflection, that physical self that you see in that mirror is only the beginning of the story of who you really are. In order to have the fulfillment, the authentic life experience that you came here for, to have that desire quenched that you have been craving, it requires you to know thyself on a deeper, more intimate, more authentic, more truthful level. Now, I have taken the Holistic Healing Circle the past 2 years on a deep dive through the 12 levels of holistic restoration so that you can get to know yourself on a completely different level and begin to bring more of your full self to your daily life experiences. If that's something that's of interest to you, reach out to me and we'll make sure that you can get access to that. I believe it's the 311. At tier 4 and above, you get access to all of this. You get access to the past 2 years of holistic healing circle trainings, which is unbelievable, unbelievable. And we'll take you on that deep dive journey to better knowing thyself. And that's also very timely, because I believe that 2020 happened to shake us all up so that we would have an opportunity. I spoke about this all throughout 2022, and it's just compounded over the year since. It was here to shake us up, to have us pay attention to how we are showing up in our lives. What choices are we making? What is our thought process? How are we investing our time, our money, our energy? What are you doing? Are you living in alignment with your soul's purpose or not? If you are, you found 2020, I mean, a bit bothersome for sure, but not a complete devastation upheaval, as some who thought that who they were was tied up with how society has been going. Well, society is going through a complete restructuring, and how do you keep your footing, keep moving forward, stay confident, stay clear, stay focused? By knowing thyself. So knowing yourself, who you truly are at the essence, beyond this flesh body, but the soul spirit that courses inside of you, that keeps your body going day in, day out, without you barely having to lift a finger to make it all happen. I mean, I know we do stuff, but you get what I'm saying. You didn't ask your eyes to blink. You didn't ask your lungs to inhale and exhale. You didn't ask your throat to swallow. All that you did was show up, go throughout your day, and all of these functions happened automatically, because you have a spirit that lives inside of you that is using your physical self as a vessel to do some powerful, impactful, and evolutionary work here on this earthly realm. And if you're just going through the motions, or you've been going through the motions in this external way, with the external representation of who you are, the external validation of who you are, and identifying who you are with the way that the world is around you, well, when the world shakes up, guess who shakes up with it? So if you had this card in your mind, card number 1, then this is your message. Know thyself, self-examination, seeing who you really are. One of the best ways to get to know who you really are is starting to pay attention to, like an outside observer witnessing versus the person that is happening to you. Start to pay attention to all that happens internally, especially when life doesn't go your way. You get to know who your survival self is. You get to know how you act in self-preserving ways. And a lot of that is a clue as to how you're used to functioning externally, and where it feels expansive, right, good, amazing. That means your external self is lining up with your soul self. And when it's feeling limited, frustrating, not quite enough, that means that you're putting more energy into this physical experience, and it's time for you to turn inwardly and take a look at who you truly are. Step out of your justifications for being how you are and get into the real, radical, responsible level of ownership of your whole self, which includes some aspects that aren't true to you that you can allow to fall off, right? Okay, where are my card number 2 people? Because here we are. Here we are. This is card number 12. I always tell you the numbers because sometimes numbers are really significant. I think it's interesting. We got a 21 and now we got a 12. And this card is the present. The present. I love these cards. I love all these mermaids that are on here, but she is definitely one of my favorites. Look how fierce and certain and unshakable she looks. Love it. The images on Oracle cards always give you a clue as to what the card's all about. And original card readers only went by the visual. And then eventually down the line, I guess some people started creating some books that go along with it, so you can look and you can reflect and you can get the creator stance on what these cards mean. But the real power lies, because remember, intuition is not about right or wrong. Intuition is about getting to know yourself and trust yourself on a deeper, deeper level. Okay, card number 2, the present. The message on this card is gift, treasure, revelation of own value, nowness. Nowness. So if you pick this card, consider this as you journey forward. And remember, all three of them are going to tell us the story about the month of January. This one in particular is for my card number 2 pickers. Now, the present is where all the good stuff happens. It's in the present moment that you can be connected to your soul self and your physical self at the same time. It's when you're thinking about the past or the future that you're separating those two entities. And the present is where the magic happens. It's where everything happens. Everything that is not present, all the past, all the future, it's a fantasy mental creation. Now, that doesn't mean you didn't really go through what you went through in your past. Absolutely, you did. But did you experience the whole story of what was happening as you went through that? Good chances you weren't. Unless you were consciously present in your fullness, recognizing the fullness of the other characters that you were engaging with, recognizing the fullness of this ongoing divine unfolding that we are a part of. Unless you experienced your past situation from that overview of wholeness, chances are you filtered that experience through your past experiences, your belief systems, what came before, and you actually experience a fractured, splintered off version of the whole story that was happening in that moment. Compound that with that now, here at the time of this recording, all of that stuff happened in the past. You can't go and point to it. You can't physically recreate it. It's something that plays out up here. Maybe other people have some memories of it, but regardless, we're talking about you right now. So it's all happening right up here. It's the same thing about projecting into the future. What's going to happen next? What's 2022 going to hold? Where's it going to happen in 2023? Where we're going to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 50 years from now. All of that is fantasy, make-believe, and projections from the mind. It is not the whole story. It isn't happening yet. What is happening now is all that there is. And the more that you can bring yourself to the present moment, the more you find your personal power. When you come back to the present moment and you remember and know who you are, you can choose in the present moment to move forward in a way that's more aligned, more true, more authentic, more integrity filled than what you are used to doing or what you would have done if you just stayed in that fantasy remembering about the past and that projection of the future. When you're in those two places, you are not going to make the same choice necessarily as if you are here current in the present moment, because regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what's going on in your world, if you're watching this in this moment, all is well. Might not be how your ego wants it to be, might not be easy, it might not even be comfortable, but all is well because you're still here and everything's still unfolding before you. So I'm already getting the sense that for January, you're going to be given opportunity to, and you're going to find tremendous power in knowing who you are and coming back to the present moment and connecting with that bigger truth. Let me also tell you this about intuition. Intuition isn't necessarily going to agree with everything that I say. I am following my intuition. I am trusting myself to bring through the messages that are meant to be shared, because that's all we ever do, is that which is meant to happen. And when you realize that you're only ever doing that which is meant to happen, you can step out of, did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? And you can start to live in this 3D multi-dimensional experience that we are actually a part of in every moment. In the 3D world, I got a video on this, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but in the 3D world, everything's right, wrong. What's created in the physical is what exists. That's the end of the story. In the 3D world, you evolve beyond right and wrong. You allow both of those to exist at the same time and also not exist at all, because you're working in multi-dimensionals. So if you're only in a 3D where it has a fixed unfolding, then you have a right choice and a wrong choice. But if you move into the multidimensional experience, you have all the choices, but the true choice is the one that actually comes through. So I'm following my intuition, pulling these cards, sharing the messages from the cards, and that might be hitting the mark for you. Oftentimes it does. It's pretty cool that it happens that way. And it might not be hitting the mark for you. And if it's not hitting the mark for you, there's one of two things happening. Either your ego and personality doesn't like what I have to say. That's okay. Or what I have to say is intentionally, purposefully, divinely appointedly not lining up with the truth that you have inside of you that only you can discover and you can recognize. So if anything that I say in any of these readings or at any point moving forward doesn't line up with you, take time to reflect. Is this my personality, my egoic preference that doesn't like what Chrissy's saying? Or is there something more that I was supposed to gain having heard what Chrissy said, have it not hit the mark, and that's the only way that I can discover my own truth? It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't diminish my intuition. It doesn't even diminish my self-trust. I trust fully, not that I'm bringing forth the absolute truth of everything that needs to be told. I believe that I bring forth that which is supposed to be said, that which is supposed to be heard, in part for landing and hitting the mark, and in part for waking up and starting people on their own journey. Where are my card number 3 people? Oh, this is so good, y'all. Card number 3, here she is. This is card number 6, which interestingly, anybody who's into numerology, if you take the year 2022, you have a 2, and you add that to the 0, and you add that to the 2, and you add that to the other 2, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2, you get 6. And we got card number 6 right here. Energy field adjustment. Can't you just feel the aura of this one? Energy field adjustment. The message is aura, cleansing, and health. Now, this is 100% totally, in my world at least, accurate and on point. This whole idea of knowing who you are, coming to the present moment, and adjusting your own energy field is the name of the game. I think that combination, and I get chills just thinking it. Chills is one of the ways that my physical body validates what it is that I'm tapping into energetically. You may notice this for yourself as well. In order to keep your footing throughout this year and beyond, as we continue to transition, it is going to be absolutely necessary, I feel, essential for me in my world, because I'm somebody who's often overwhelmed by the happenings of this world, often overwhelmed about what's coming next down this physical pipeline and in this physical reality and what has already happened. I mean, it's all overwhelming to me. So I find this to be very on point and absolutely essential for me moving forward throughout this year. And you may find some alignment with this as well. Knowing who you are, coming to the present moment, and tending to your own energy field is the name of the game, because that is where we're going. We're moving out of this world where everything has to be just so that you can be okay, whole, complete, enough. And we're moving into the actuality that you already are whole, complete, enough. And all this that's unfolding around you is happening in divine sequential order to help you wake up to and live into that divine truth that's inside of you. And what this energy field adjustment comes to us, it speaks to us about tending to ourselves. Now, I know that I'm somebody who is a caretaker of others. I tend to others. I am resilient. I carry more than my weight in different arenas of this world. And I know that I attract a lot of people to my groups and my offerings that are the same way. We're the ones that are resilient. We're the ones that step in and take over so that everybody else can feel okay. In part, we need to do it so that we can feel okay. And in part, we're just the doers of the world. We make things happen. We tend to our families. We take care of what needs to get done. And we usually have a little bit more than what is just ours that we carry around with us. That's why I think it's so powerful to understand energy and how energy works so that you can start to refine what you're carrying around with you and start to pay attention to what is in your energy field. And as you develop yourself, as you evolve, and as you come into the deeper levels of truths of who you are, and you bring yourself out of those fantasy stories of the past and the present, and you can come to the present moment, you can actually begin to realize what part of the energy that you're carrying is yours and your responsibility, and what part is other people's that you have just allowed to glom onto you, or perhaps part of their energy was feeding some kind of victim mentality in you that was allowing you to continue some unserving habits in your world. Regardless the way that that all unfolds for you, a lot of us that are the movers, the shakers, the doers, the caretakers of the world, the resilient ones, not only do we end up clogging up our own energy field, but we tend to allow ourselves on our endless list of things that we're going to do, have done, got to do. We tend to bump ourselves down that list. Maybe we even know that we need to take care of ourselves, but it's easy to excuse because I'm resilient, so I can run on less sleep. I'm resilient, I can go without eating a meal. I'm resilient, so I can deal with the uncomfortableness better. And all that means is that I cause less disruption so that everybody around me can be chill, so that I can be more chill, even if I now have this extra burden that I'm carrying. So one of the things that is being asked of us doers, shakers, movers, caretakers, is to stop relying on our resiliency to get us through and start tending to our own energy field in a more responsible, loving, kind, and gentle way, and proactive way. So aura cleansing and health speaks to me in that now is the time to be taking care of yourself and not just going through the motions and making sure, okay, shower, check, teeth brush, check, going to bed and getting some hours of sleep every night, check. I'm talking about taking that game to the next level. There has been something within you that has been nudging you to take some time to tend to yourself. I want you to connect with that. And I want you to consider working it in. Even if you can't work it in, work it in. And pay attention to the fact that when your energy field is clear, you actually can move more, shake more, do more, nurture more to other people. And their chaos and craziness doesn't weigh you down so much because things don't get stuck in your aura field whenever it's clean and pristine and flowing all shiny and fresh. So if you want more tips on how you can cleanse and balance your aura field, definitely let me know that, and we can address some of that in future Q&As that we do here once a month, first Fridays. Remember that? What's happening right now? Whenever it happens again. Let me know if you want me to answer some questions around that. You can also, of course, bump yourself up to that tier 4 level, dive into the Holistic Healing Circle teachings from the past couple of years, because we go deep into a lot of that. And same with the Awakened Intuition series, which I think you get access to whenever you're at this level. If you can watch this at tier 2 and above, I'm pretty sure you get access to that Awakened Intuition series. And we talked about energy fields and energy balancing, and you can begin that journey of better understanding that. And of course, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation about it, then reach out. But this is the message that I'm getting for the month of January. It is time to truly know yourself. It is time to return to the present so you can be in your full power. And it is time to tend to your energy field. Like, this is the word that comes to me over and over and over again. And it's not a very sexy word. I'll go ahead and tell you that straight up. But the word is proactive. Proactive. Being thoughtful, mindful, connective, present enough to do for yourself now that which will aid you moving forward. Proactive. And the best way to develop proactivity, is that a word? The best way to become more proactive in your life is to know yourself. It's to come to the present moment. Get out of all the things that are coming down the line and all the things that happened before, and get to know yourself on a very intimate level so that you can know exactly what you need to do to set yourself up for success. And the more that your energy field is cleared and balanced, the easier it's going to be for you to have the time, the space, the remembrance to bump yourself back up that priority list and make sure that you're tending to yourself as well. Okay. I want to keep these like 30 minutes or less unless we have people on here having a really great conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'd love your feedback. I'd love to know, which card did you choose? 1, 2, or 3? Did it speak to you? Was there anything about intuition that came forward for you that we need to address in future sessions? Let me know that. And for today, remember the takeaway from intuition isn't a right, wrong kind of thing. It is a self-trust, divine certainty kind of thing. It's an innate intelligence that's there for you to tap into, a navigational system. And just because you got a navigational system doesn't mean that you're always on the right track. It means that the track you're on, no matter what it looks like, you always know how to navigate and where to go. And even if you navigate and go in a direction that your ego does not like at all, you're fully equipped for that as well. So begin that journey to deepening your intuition. Take that time to get to know yourself, find yourself, check in with yourself. Are you being present? And when you're feeling overwhelmed this month, come back to the present. We are going to get a lot of opportunity all year long to be distracted on what's happening in this external world that actually isn't even showing up in your actual physical world around you. It's just being told to you that's happening out there in the world. And the more that you can come to the present moment, the more that you can realize, oh, actually, although there's a lot happening on the television or through the social media webs, right now in this moment, I'm sitting watching a video on a device that is working without me even having to know how it works. And in this moment, all is indeed well. From there, you're going to find different options. And that's really what we want, more options. And you're going to be able to make a choice that aligns to act, react, take action in a way that aligns with the wholeness of who you are and the bigger unfolding. And pay attention to that energy field. What we think is all this stuff that's out there can just be a clogged up energy system, because it's kind of sticky sometimes, energy is, and it will stick right to your energy field if you're not tending to it. That's why mermaids spend so much time brushing their hair. They're just clearing out their energy field. All right, my beloveds, I hope this hit the mark for you. I hope that you're excited about everything that is unfolding here in this community. I'm so glad that you're here, and honored to be a guide and a way shower for you to connect more fully to yourself as this year unfolds. And I look forward to our next one already. All right. Love you so much. Drop me some comments, hit reply. Let me know what's going on. If I can answer any questions, then I'm here for you. And if you have questions for next month's Q&A, then you can either come to the live session or get those questions over to me. All right. Sending you so much love. Have an amazing day. We will talk again soon. Bye.